Welcome to the deep dive. Let's talk math today. Specifically, that feeling, and I know many of you listening know this feeling well. Maybe you're coming back to math in your 30s, 40s, 50s.
Yeah.
You look at a problem and you just crease.
Oh, yeah. The blank stare.
Totally.
Yeah.
You feel like you should know where to start, but nothing comes. Your mind's just blank. We've all been there, I think.
Absolutely. It's incredibly common.
So today we're diving into a really insightful piece from the SalonMathematique blog. It's a place where people share their experiences, learning math.
Right. Real experiences.
And our mission really is to pull out some practical strategies from this post, things you can actually use to break through that stuck feeling and, well, get your hands moving on those problems.
That paralysis you mentioned is such a big hurdle. You open the book, see the problems, and it's like, bam, a wall goes up.
Exactly.
And what's great about this blog post is it really digs into why that happens. I think it'll really hit home for adult learners, especially who might have some mental roadblocks built up around math.
I think so, too. And the first point the blog makes, it's interesting because it's not just math, right?
Yeah.
It's this urge, this tendency to want to write down the perfect answer straight away.
Yes, that pressure.
The post talks about how so many of us, faced with a math problem, feel we need to immediately produce the solution, and it has to be right, first time.
It's funny how we do that with math, but not other things. Like, think about writing.
Okay.
You wouldn't just sit down with a blank screen and expect, a perfect final report to just flow out.
No way, you'd scribble notes, right? Maybe an outline, just get some thoughts down first.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Brainstorming, outlining, rough drafts.
Yeah.
It's normal.
We give ourselves permission to do that groundwork in writing or planning a project. But somehow with math, maybe it's this idea of math geniuses just seeing answers.
Yeah, that myth.
We expect ourselves to just know it instantly. But the blog points out, and it's so true, the final answer in math, like the polished report, it comes after some digging, some initial work.
So that first bit of advice is really crucial. Resist that urge. Don't try to be perfect from the very first mark you make.
Yeah, just start.
Just start. And that actually flows right into their second point, which I think is key. Having weapons.
Weapons. Okay, explain that.
Well, that feeling helpless, not knowing where to begin, it often stems from feeling like you don't have the right tools.
Ah, okay. Like you're unarmed.
Exactly. You lack the foundational knowledge or maybe different ways to attack the problem, different techniques.
It's like trying to build that IKEA furniture, but you don't have the little Allen key thing.
Perfect analogy. Or the blog uses one about swimming butterfly just by picturing it.
Right, you can picture it all day, but you need the actual technique, the feel for it.
I need the moves, the muscle memory. And in math, these weapons, these tools, they're built by really looking at how other people solved problems.
So looking at worked examples.
Yes, but crucially, not just to see the answer. It's about absorbing the thinking, seeing different approaches, understanding the why behind each step.
Okay, so it's about the method, not just the result.
Precisely. If it's, say, algebra, understanding how to isolate the variable that's a weapon, or knowing you can draw a diagram for a word problem, another weapon, you build this arsenal.
That's such an important distinction. It's not cheating to look at solutions if you're doing it to learn the process.
Exactly. The blog really stresses that. True learning happens when you can understand and maybe even reproduce that reasoning yourself. That's when you've truly added a weapon to your toolkit.
And what about people listening who feel like, I don't even have the basics to understand the solutions, like completely lost?
Yeah, good question. The advice there is pretty clear. Start simpler. Go back to problems you can handle, even if they feel basic.
Build some confidence first.
Get some wins. Build that momentum. It's like learning guitar. You don't start with a shredding solo, right? You start with basic chords, scales.
Right. Get the fundamentals down. Okay, that makes sense. So resist perfection, build your weapons.
Yeah.
What's the third big idea?
The third one is about this myth of needing the smart solution right away.
Ah, the elegant proof.
Yeah.
The clever shortcut.
Yeah. We all admire that, right? That beautiful, efficient solution that makes you go, aha. And wanting that can be a good motivator. It pushes you to think deeper.
But it can also be paralyzing if you think that's the only way.
Exactly. And the blog makes this fantastic point. Don't underestimate just, getting your hands dirty.
The brute force approach.
Sorter, yeah. Just diving in, doing the calculations, maybe listing things out, even if it feels inefficient or, a bit basic.
Get grinding through it.
Right, because sometimes, and this is the really cool part the blog highlights, sometimes working through it the clunky way actually helps you find the elegant way.
How does that work?
Well, by actually manipulating the numbers or listing the possibilities, you might start to see a pattern or relationship you just wouldn't spot by staring at the problem abstractly.
Okay, so the act of doing it, even inefficiently, can reveal insights. Like maybe listing outcomes for a probability question suddenly shows you a formula you could have used.
Precisely. It's like exploring a maze.
Yeah.
You might take some wrong turns, hit some dead ends,
Mm-hmm.
but that process helps you build a mental map. Eventually, you find the efficient path because you've explored the territory. The initial wandering wasn't wasted.
So the message is, it's okay to be a bit clunky at first. Don't worry about looking smart right away.
Absolutely. Give yourself permission to just work through it, and the blog adds a nice touch.
Yeah.
Once you do find that neater method, maybe after the initial work,
Yeah.
that's the one you write up neatly or present. But that first, maybe messy exploration was essential for understanding.
I like that. It takes the pressure off finding the genius move immediately. Focus on understanding and just making progress.
Exactly. Action first, understanding through doing. That momentum builds, and often that's when the aha moments happen, leading to those smarter approaches later.
Okay, so let's try and wrap these key ideas up for everyone listening. When you hit that wall with a math problem, that freeze.
Yeah.
Remember these things from the SalonMathematique blog? First, forget perfection right at the start.
Just start somewhere. Doodle, sketch, try something.
Second, build your toolkit, your weapons, study work examples, but focus on the how and why, not just the answer.
Understand the reasoning. That's the key.
And third, don't shy away from just digging in, even if your first approach feels basic or inefficient.
Get your hands dirty. That initial effort often unlocks deeper understanding and sometimes those elegant solutions too.
It's about the process, not just the immediate answer.
And remember, this is personal. Finding your way with math, especially as an adult learner, it's about experimenting. See what approach works for you.
Yeah.
And like the blog suggests, even small bits of regular practice, maybe just 10 minutes a day.
Yeah.
It keeps those math muscles working and builds confidence slowly but surely.
Definitely. Okay, so final thought to leave you with. Think about this approach. Getting unstuck in math by starting messy, building tools, allowing inefficiency. How might that apply elsewhere? Other areas in your life where maybe you hesitate to start something.
That's a great question.
What weapons do you need there?
Yeah.
What skills, what knowledge? And how can you just give yourself permission to start even if the first steps feel a bit clumsy? Something to think about.
Definitely something to ponder.
Thanks for taking this deep dive with us today.